Haven't done one of these in a while.
And they're fighting near the biggest nuclear plant in Europe, and if they break it, this could be bad.
Another Chernobyl. Yeah, that's all we need. Hopefully they'll have some kind of safe zone where no combat should happen anywhere near there, like a 5 or 10 mile radius.
Slovenia, Slovakia. It could threaten Trump's entire wife supply.
Oh.
Trump. When is this man not going to be in the news?
Hell yeah.
Now we're in like week 3 of Boxgate.
Boxgate.
Where they went down to Mar-a-Lago, the FBI, to get his boxes. And, every week now we hear different stories about why he is okay to have taken these from MAGA land. And the latest, they're planted. The FBI planted them.
Oh, God. If he says the evidence was planted, believe me, his followers will believe him. They'll believe anything he says.
They were always the law and order people, right? Now it's like defund the FBI, get rid of the FBI. The FBI. Am I the only one remembering this? They're the squares.
The squares.
They iron their underwear. That's who the FBI. But the truth is, most residents of Wyoming just relate more to Trump because most residents of Wyoming are cows. Undoing real elections. You know what a scandal is in Europe? They're all upset this week about the Prime Minister of Finland, Sanna Marin. She's 36. There she is.
What?
And they got her on tape partying.
That's young, man.
Yeah, that's the Prime Minister of Finland. That is not fair. They get that, we get this.
Well, sure. I mean, I think what's great about exploring something through comedy or through drama, which in my opinion are basically the same thing with different writing. That sounds like completely different things. Let me start again. Great comedy comes from playing the drama and finding the funny. Sure.
I mean, you're not there that long in Texas. You go down there, it's not that long before you're eating at the Whataburger or whatever that.
Absolutely. Well, I do think.
Whataburger. Yeah, that's big in Texas. They love it.
So when people talk about, when I saw that, I thought, when people talk about how we're going to have a second civil war, we can't because we're amongst each other.
Yeah, the only way out is through.
It might not be a full-on civil war like before, but there's still going to be a lot of infighting, at least for a while to come.
So I'm saying I think the problem, I don't think the problem is that audiences are too sensitive. I think the problem is that people are worried that other people are too sensitive.
Right.
Yeah, good point. And those people who are worried about other people being offended somehow have all the power.
Sorry, who controls the Supreme Court right now?
I want to see the Jamie Foxx movie.
Hell yeah.
Jamie Foxx is great. It's about time he got a director's job to make his own movie. He finally did. It's with Robert Downey. He's great, too. I'm sure this movie is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And because a small group of people, it's your opinion. You think, I heard someone on TMZ say, well, the movie looks bad. It doesn't. It looks fucking great. Yeah.
I'm not sure what the entire problem is with that Jamie Foxx movie, but I've read that Robert Downey plays a Mexican. If that's the only problem with it that those people have, man, Mexicans do not care. We are so not sensitive to that. We love Bumblebee Man from The Simpsons. We got a pretty good sense of humor. So yeah, they should release it. And they probably will. It'll probably be like an online campaign to release that movie like they did with these other ones. It might work. Now I'm really curious about it.
But, again, doesn't affect my life. I ain't getting anybody pregnant.
Well, I don't want to de-emphasize that. I mean, that does affect millions of people.
Like, how would you do World War II movies going forward? Are the Nazis going to be nice to the Jews now? You know? It's like you have to portray the ugliness.
But we will not be meeting creatively. This is their statement. Nor should we email. We will not proceed with business as usual until the recent harm and systemic issues have been addressed and healing has begun and closed the building. What? Like it was a reactor leak. Like they found legionnaires in the building. They had to close the whole.
So they shut down the play because one of the characters in the play, made up character, was a racist, right? And he used a racist word or language or a phrase. So they shut it down. And I think the word that was used was like a derogatory word or racial slur toward Latinos. Again, man, it ain't us. We don't care. Especially if it's a character, you know? Someone brought up a good point right now and said, if you make a World War II movie, how are you going to depict the Nazis now? Are they not racist? Are they not anti-Semitic? It's crazy, man.
Kudos with their peers. They want to show that they are offended on behalf of the people who should be offended.
But there's currency there.
There you go. She brought up another good point. They're being offended for the people who they feel should be offended, which is, I guess, Latinos, but that ain't going to happen.
But it's like the only permissible reaction now is overreaction. That's the only way you're safe. Here's another story I wrote about. There was a progressive summer camp outside of San Francisco called Hidden Villa. Okay, so they closed down because of what they said was structural racism. I had not heard that exact term.
So this youth camp had a tile somewhere that had a swastika on it, but it's been there since 1913, before the Nazis, because it was a Buddhist symbol. And of course, they took it away, but now it wasn't good enough. They're shutting down the whole place. And this just gets crazier and crazier as we go along.
This was small businesses trying to cover their employees who were now out of work. Only a quarter paid wages that would have otherwise been lost.
I don't know, man. The problem with that money from the government being lent out is that you have to have someone overseeing that money to make sure it's not going to fraud and things like that. And that will make the process take way longer. A lot of red tape. Nobody wants that. But I think they figured, well, we'll catch them later. We'll fix it later. But right now, just let everybody get the money. You got to expect a little bit of fraud.
Who is getting a paycheck? From whom? And who stopped getting a paycheck? The government should know these things because companies pay taxes. They pay payroll taxes. But the problem is, let me finish.
Rushing money out the door with very limited oversight were not anticipated. They were anticipated. We knew that this would be a font of fraud and abuse.
That's what I'm saying.
The government would have to come and clean it up. Prosecutors, this is the Prosecutor Paycheck Protection Act.
Okay, thank you, panel. You were great. Time for new rules.
New rules, everybody.
In a tough economy where restaurants will do anything for business, you're willing to say, yeah, nothing special here. Everyday Vietnamese cuisine, located at the corner of whatever street and Who Gives a Shit Boulevard.
They're going to get a lot of business because of this.
Come visit today, or not, who gives a fuck? And, you know, back when people still went out before brick and mortar stores were just for shoplifting. All right, that's our show. I'll be at the Kleinings Music Hall in Buffalo October 9th.
Yeah, this episode was a little boring compared to the one before it. Still kind of funny. All right, man. Catch you on the next one. Counterfeiting is a billion-dollar business perpetrated by thousands of people throughout the world. Meet Kimo, one of those people. Kimo is a young man from the most dangerous city in America. After losing his job, he ventures into the risky business of counterfeiting to help relocate his family to a better place.